Who keeps Atlantis off the maps? Who keeps the Martians under wraps? We do. We do.
A modern podcast where Chris and Mike talk about TV, movies, superheroes, and everything in between. It's time for Superhero Slate.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Superhero Slate, the show where we run down the latest superhero entertainment news.
We love TV, movies, and superheroes, so let's talk it all out.
My name is Chris Dillard.
And my name is Mike Royer.
And this week, the concept art has definitely been unleashed upon us, Mike.
No kidding.
It's everywhere. We're going to talk some Star Wars sequels later on in the show.
All right.
Batman loses another director.
Ouch.
I'm feeling deja vu on that one, to be honest, and more. So
yeah, this is an extended weekend for me over here in Southern California. I will have a Monday free, so I feel like I have all of this extra time to just like indulge in my no responsibility. So I think I told you this yesterday, but I thought I'd bring it up again because I talk about it on the show all the time about how I never have any like time or any sort of like drive to rewatch movies. So I decided yesterday to actually rewatch Civil War on Netflix. So I thought that was a big deal. I mean, like I always see these movies pretty much like nearly hour one on like Thursday nights in the movie theaters. But like if I ever watch it for a second time, it's usually because I'm seeing it again in theaters during release. But like I just never get around to watching them again in my home, you know. So yesterday I was chilling on the couch watching Civil War, and it was good. It was good to revisit. You know, I didn't have the distractions of a movie theater to deal with. I could pause it whenever I wanted. I mean, obviously, I'm telling everything everybody already knows about watching movies at home, but I just wanted to report it and say it was a good time. It was a good time?
Well, in that regard, I actually was able to revisit Guardians of the Galaxy last night. I thought I didn't want to rewatch the Game Show Network yet again, so my wife I thought was putting on Finding Nemo, but I'm like, she was doing it on some sort of channel. I'm like, we own this digitally, right? She's like, yeah. I'm like, then don't put on the one with the commercials. Like, let's find something else. So she actually put on Guardians instead, and that was fun to revisit that world with the sequel coming up so soon.
Nice.
And also, we never talked about it, I guess, maybe a little bit, but there are new Pokemon in Pokemon Go, Mike. And I'm excited because the weather's nice here to go out and enjoy it.
I mean, I can't say for sure that I would still have the app if I had more room on my phone. But I have like the lowest storage iPhone 7 or 6 or whatever iPhone I have. I don't even remember anymore. But like I'm always like boarding around only having like 1 gig free. So I was like, Pokemon, you gotta go. I haven't opened the app in like weeks, and this was like sometime last year. So
yeah,
I don't think new Pokemon is enough for me still to open it up. They're gonna have to like drastically like change the way the game functions for me to like be curious enough to dip back in.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of new stuff in it to, like, you know, there's new evolution items you need and new berries and new stuff. It feels new, and that's good. But, I mean, honestly, this is really just a cover-up because my car got rear-ended on Friday, and I'm just trying to find some positive in this weekend, Mike. and there you are, just shooting me down.
Oh, man, I think you're skimming over the most important part of the story was you were rear-ended by a police officer, weren't you?
I was. It was definitely a police officer who came up and got me from behind, if you will.
I don't know if that's good luck or bad luck. Did he like apologize for it? Sorry, I shouldn't assume he's a man. It could have been a woman. But
it was a man, and he did apologize, and I mean he took responsibility like a man, which was very impressive. Mm-hmm. And he knew the phone number to the city I live in police. The city I was in. It's not the city I live in. The city I was in police before I could even look it up on my phone. So I'm like, well, that's a bonus here. So my car's still drivable. I've got to drop it off in the morning, so I'm going to be carless this week, and I've got to figure out how to do that in a city that doesn't pride itself on public transportation.
Yeah, down there in kind of like the South/Midwest, whatever kind of zone you occupy. Yeah, you pretty much need a car to get around.
Yeah, so I'll figure it out. I mean, look, it could have been much worse. Things could be worse. So I'm trying to find the little things to enjoy, Mike. Like an update on Pokemon Go.
I tell you what, I will top you being rear-ended by a police officer to. We literally had a sinkhole out here in Los Angeles on Friday. It was. I know there was a lot of rain on Friday, and we did have 2 people die from the rain, which on the surface sounds funny because you're like, oh, Los Angeles can't handle a little rain, literally people die. But actually it was a lot of rain, it was pretty windy, and the city just doesn't necessarily have the infrastructure for all of that rain all at once, just because, I mean, it's like an arid climate. We don't really get a whole lot of water, so we don't really plan for it, I guess. But the sinkhole can still be kind of funny because I don't believe anyone was killed via the sinkhole. So there's actually like some video of it, which is pretty crazy to see. So yeah, so we got sinkholes out here. Just another thing I have to worry about. Like I can be attacked by 2 cougars hiking. I could be basically killed in my car any day, either just being on the freeway or just like falling into a sinkhole. So, you know, I'm just adding that to the list. Oh, and earthquakes too, and maybe even tsunamis. That's a possibility. Maybe at my office, but maybe not where I live. But Southern California, sunny. We got that going.
Yeah, go ahead and make some more stuff up there, Mike. We'll figure it out. But yeah, so I mean, other than that, actually, we've got a really big week of news here, and I'm really excited to kind of jump into it with you because I don't know if we've talked about any of this.
Yeah, we haven't. We've been a little radio silence. Well, usually we can get pretty excited, like if we have a week's episode that's like full of trailers, we're going to run down all these trailers. This week is kind of different. We got a lot of like art we got to run down, so that'll be cool. So definitely check out superheroslate.com to look at the show notes for this episode because we'll have links to all the images. Or watch the podcast on YouTube because I believe Chris throws in those images when we talk about them. So.
Mm-hmm. Mike doesn't know because he doesn't watch them, but that's okay. I don't listen to our own show either. So
well, all I know is the last I checked, they were on there. I just wasn't sure if you changed anything.
Yep, nope, still doing it. Same ones go on Facebook too. So thank you guys who are listening on Facebook to us today. Appreciate it. So let's jump into this. First off, Doctor Strange, the digital release hit this week. Mike, did you pick it up?
No, I didn't pick it up yet. I feel like I'm always waiting for like an iTunes bundle. Actually, in being realistically, I'm just waiting to like purchase an Apple TV so I can access that iTunes library a little better. But no, I haven't picked it up.
Okay, well, it came out this week and it's available. And I know a couple people who did buy it digitally, so kudos for them. What really boils down to is that this kicked off the rest of the concept art we're about to talk about. Because with this comes a look at more of Marvel's Phase 3, which include the movies Thor Ragnarok, Black Panther, Infinity War, and more. So we're gonna kick right into it. So if you want to get Doctor Strange, you can go ahead and buy it. I'm waiting my physical steelbook copy with the I guess the time stone on it. So really excited to see that. First up and foremost, Thor Ragnarok dropping later this year. Really excited for this movie. I've not got to see this section yet, but the new the second part of Thor and his roommate Darryl, part 2, is out. They came with Doctor Strange. I haven't got to watch the whole thing yet, but I did see a trailer or a clip of it, and it was hilarious.
Yeah, the clip, I guess, / trailer is out there in the world, so go watch that. It seems to be it's going to be just as funny as the first one, so I'm kind of curious to see what other heroes they've had cameoed, because wasn't Mark Ruffalo, he was in the first one, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. There's somebody else in it. I know he was like getting ice cream with somebody or something. I don't know. I don't remember all the details, but there was someone else involved.
Yeah. I couldn't tell you. I'd have to go back and watch that, but I kind of now don't want to watch it until I have them both side by side to watch because, like, I feel like it's just one big story. And Chris Hemsworth, once he flexes his comedy chops, he does pretty well. I think we talked about in our spoiler cast last year for Ghostbusters. He's one of the highlights of Ghostbusters. So definitely enjoy that. So if you guys have seen it, let us know. Really excited. Next up, we have 2 pieces of concept art. I think this is taken from a scrolling video. The first one is Hulk in his gladiator armor with a battle axe and a sword fighting Thor in the arena in a la Planet Hulk style.
Yeah, I mean, we've had reports for a long time that there was going to be kind of this gladiatorial battle between the two of them. We weren't really sure the context in which it was going to take place, but I have a feeling in the background there, just around like Hulk's brow, that's probably Jeff Goldblum in the tiny fleck back there. But this is a pretty cool, like, after watching Civil War yesterday, revisiting it, seeing the heroes fight is always really fun just because you're invested in, like, both sides of the battle, you don't really care too much about the villains in the Marvel Universe. So I think this will be really, really fun. I don't know if Hulk is going to be mind controlled or if they're going to somehow manipulate him to fight. I'm not sure how that's going to work. But as long as it makes somewhat sense, I think I'll be distracted when they start throwing down, because it looks like it's going to be pretty serious, because I believe what they're described both as megaton nukes.
Oh, definitely by far. And I mean, there's some sort of purple hue to this. I don't know if it has any effect or if it's just added in there for, spacey feel in this, concept art. But definitely, I mean, it's definitely got the gladiator style arena. And I can't wait to see them come to blows yet again in a humorous way. Because when they fought on the helicarrier in the first Avengers, that's pretty good. That's a pretty good feeling. So now I want to see them go full power at each other in this no holds barred arena. Mm-hmm. Next up, we have a pre-visualization of Hulk with some of his weapons.
Yeah, that is some pre-viz for sure.
Definitely looks like, Xbox One, or not Xbox One, but the first Xbox era video game. The Hulk's coming into the arena from a thing, shoulder pads, helmet, big old hammer, and it looks to be a double-bladed battle axe, and just showing some of the work they're doing there on the previs.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty awesome. I mean, this is just kind of getting you hyped up for the battle. I'm kind of starting to wonder maybe where this battle takes place within the movie. Like, is it going to be kind of like right there in the middle? Are they going to kind of place it maybe between the second and third acts of the movie? Just wondering how much buildup we're going to have until we see them like really throw down. Because I feel like, at the end of the day, they're going to end up teaming up, fighting.
Right, and that's what we want to see as well. Got to see a little battle, then we got to see them team up. Because whoever they're teaming up against, do I feel sorry for them? It's going to be rough. And lastly, in this concept art realm, as probably my favorite bit of the art that comes out here, and we get a full look at the villainous Hela, played by Cate Blanchett in the upcoming film, against Loki and Thor, and it looks like they've both kind of been played by her. And I think she looks awesome. I think this is a great design.
Yeah, and I think when you look at this, you can see that it seems to be like an alleyway in New York, so it seems like she is on Earth. So I don't know if her abilities make it pretty simple for her to get to Earth, because we've seen, it's not as easy to get from Asgard down there. So I don't know, maybe she's just kind of like omnipresent in the cinematic universe, or what the deal is. But we know at some point in the movie they're down there looking for Doctor Strange, so maybe that's kind of where this gets roped in.
Yeah, that, and well, I mean, they're all on Earth looking for Odin, so if they do find him and she shows up and tries to kill him, I could definitely see that, being an issue. So definitely, I think it's a great design. I can't wait to see it in action in a live action trailer. I don't know. Again, we're wrong when we try to predict trailers. I don't know when we're going to get one, but it looks cool, because the last bit of art from Thor Ragnarok, I guess it's not art, so that's a green screen image, has me asking a lot of questions, and that's Thor punching a zombie. I think our link's broken here, but I sent you a Photoshop version I made the other day of it.
Well, yeah, the link's working for me, and I can see it in its full glory. There's a whole lot to look at here, because first of all, the zombie does kind of resemble the look of the zombie from the cover of Marvel vs. Zombies. So I think that's probably just more of like a nod to it. But since we're kind of looking at the living dead here, we just looked at Hela. It makes me think that Hela, brings the dead back to life, maybe to fight Thor. But I think the hammer is more indicative of maybe when this might take place during the movie. If Thor maybe gets his hammer lost throughout the movie, maybe this is the very beginning. Maybe this is like the opening of the movie, just him like killing a bunch of zombies or something like that. That could be really cool.
Yeah, I mean, to me, I instantly thought of, again, not Marvel zombies, that was more of a joke, but again, Hela having, the realm of the dead, so to speak. And maybe, there's some sort of, I guess he's distracted going there for some reason and gets enveloped into this trap of sorts. Because he doesn't have his armored arms on either. Like like the last image shows he has armored sleeves.
He seems pretty cash. Like he's walking back from the bar after getting some grog. He wants to go take a nap, and then all of a sudden he runs across the zombie.
Yeah, exactly. And the zombie's like, "Give me your wallet, bro," and he's like, "No." So definitely, it's green screen image. Definitely way out of context. And I want to know more. Thor Ragnarok has my interest peaked all day long because and this concept art and images just go to show it here. So anything else you want to add on that one?
No, I mean, usually usually we're bad at defining times when we get trailers, but usually the flow of information is like, we get like a title announcement, we start to get some casting information, we get the concept art, and then you kind of get the first official poster. I think once that poster drops, we're less than a week away from the trailer, so keep your eye out for any sort of poster news, because that's really going to dial you into when we're going to get that first trailer.
Yeah, and earlier I was talking to my friend Brian about this year is every other year is D23 from Disney, and this year D23 is the week before San Diego Comic-Con. Ooh. So some of the things I kind of theorized would be a Thor Ragnarok full trailer in the middle of July, kind of because that's right after Spider-Man. Got a hype for the next Marvel movie. And Thor Ragnarok would definitely be the one I think.
Well, what would be great is if we did have the trailer before Comic-Con, then on the floor at Comic-Con, usually all of the big studios like showing off costumes and stuff like that. It would be great if we could kind of see the costumes from the film at the floor at Comic-Con. That would be cool, because I'm sure there's going to be lots of like accessories. Like I imagine like that giant battle axe is going to be like within a glass case, maybe on the floor. That would be really, really rad.
Well, yeah, last year they had the Hulk's gladiator armor and stuff there, so definitely. And that's even if Marvel goes to San Diego Comic-Con. We always say they won't, but they probably will. They'll do both. They'll do both. They got money.
Yeah, I mean the booths are pretty much always there. It's just whether they're going to have a panel or not. So crossing my fingers that I'll snag a badge for this year, and I'll let you guys know what I see.
Yeah, totally. Right around the corner from that though is Black Panther next February, actually. So our wait time between Thor and Black Panther is even less than between Spider-Man and Thor. And we got this new concept art gallery that came along with Doctor Strange, showing Wakanda, Black Panther, and more. So
yeah, it's really cool.
I think some of this is like the most visually interesting stuff here. Some of this, Black Panther is like kind of like technological aspects mixed in with like nature.
Yeah, and there's kind of like this mystic aspect to it too, like an old ancient culture wrapped in.
Exactly. So like the first couple look like he's in like some sort of overgrown tomb or like ruins of some sort of civilization. I believe the blue is maybe where the vibranium mines are, and we get to see some vibranium and water coming off the vibranium mines. What's really got me is this one of like the last three are big cityscapes. But there seems to be some like poverty-stricken zones up front here, surrounded by glass boxes. Maybe it looks like.
Yeah. I don't know if is that to like preserve what their past used to look like, because the cool thing about Wakanda is like when you think of like a small area in Africa, usually you don't think metropolitan. You think like villages, huts, and stuff like that, just because of just the nature of just like the way Africa has been portrayed in like movies like for decades and decades. So maybe this is kind of like almost like a museum for what Wakanda used to look like. And now, like they're like super advanced and hyper technological, but they're always so cut off from the world. No one really knows what's going on. So maybe they're starting to let tourists in to kind of see what's going on. But on a few episodes back when we were talking about Black Panther, getting hyped for it. I'm not exactly sure what the segment was we were talking about, but I said the number one thing I wanted to see in this movie was just a really interesting and in-depth Wakanda, just because I really want the whole movie to take place there. So it's got to be really interesting. So from this concept art, man, it looks really freaking cool. So like that tomb looks really bizarre. I'm really curious how this movie is gonna kind of take the mystical aspects of it, just because it's still kind of unsaid what exactly Chadwick Boseman had in that ring he was wearing. I don't know if it was some sort of magic or some sort of vibranium magnet, but he had some control over Bucky's vibranium arm. So
his arm's not vibranium. Bucky's not.
Oh, well, there you go. I don't know if it's just power over metal or if it was a mystical part of the Black Panther himself and the power transfers with the ring. But I want to know more about this mystical aspect of it, because I can believe this super advanced society can build a vibranium catsuit that's really powerful and makes him run and jump and can survive bullets, because that's all kind of, in the realm of science. But I want to know the mystic parts of Wakanda, so I definitely think we're going to get that with this movie.
Exactly. And my theory, and I will talk this up all day if I ever have the chance to, is that the vibranium is actually the soul stone, and it was a meteor that crashed to Earth. And when the soul stone hit, that mysterious vibranium has been created from that soul stone crash in that meteor.
Or maybe the vibranium surrounds the soul stone or something like that. And the vibranium has been, because I mean, if they've been mining this for like decades or like just like supporting the whole country off of mining it, I think it's got to be more than just maybe one meteor. But I kind of like that idea of like the vibranium kind of taking some power, and maybe the closer they dig to the stone, the more powerful the vibranium gets or something like that.
Yeah, so, well, the thing is with Black Panther, he has the ability to commune with all the old Black Panthers, like everyone who's ever been a Black Panther. And, if the souls of the old Black Panthers are captured by this vibranium that's been connected to the soul stone, I think it all ties in together into the mythos and would, as Marvel likes to say, keep it all connected.
I think that's a solid theory.
Yeah, definitely. I'm excited. This is a hell of a way to kick off 2018 next February with Black Panther. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. I just want to say the last picture is probably one of the coolest ones that shows the big cityscape. There seems to be some little bird or creature flying above the big tower in the middle there, and in the back, I guess the back left a third of the way across, that looks like a tower in Chicago.
Yeah, it does kind of look that with that kind of diamond top. This looks really cool. Man, I just want to go to this world so bad.
Maybe we can get Disney to open up a World of Wakanda at one of their parks rather than Avatar Land.
Yeah, scrap Pandora. Let's go to Wakanda.
Exactly. I'd go. The last bit of news for Black Panther is the only other black superhero in the Marvel Universe, Nick Fury, is not in Black Panther.
What about Falcon, man? He's a superhero.
Well, you're right. This was for actually what Samuel L. Jackson said in his interview. He went to Marvel and he's like, why am I not in this movie? And they're like, you're not in this one, dude. However, that ties us into our next topic, Captain Marvel. He may appear up in Captain Marvel. So Samuel L. Jackson most likely show up in Captain Marvel because Captain Marvel has a military background, and Samuel L. Jackson kind of, I guess, resurfacing at the end of Age of Ultron. I don't know what that means, and S.H.I.E.L.D. is now a thing again in the show. I don't know how he's going to show up, but if he does, so be it. Chances are he'll be in Infinity War, but if he shows up again in the solo movie, it'll definitely be Captain Marvel. That's what he said.
Yeah, we haven't seen him in a bit.
Yep. Also, I don't know where to put this, but actress, I believe it's Raja Ilya. She's Malaysian. She said in a press junket for a movie she's doing that's Malaysian, I don't remember the title, that she has been cast in a Marvel cinematic movie. And she'll be flying to the United States in about 6 months from this past weekend to train with Yayan Ruhian. Probably butchered that as well. He did the martial arts stuff for The Raid and The Force Awakens. I think he's an actor in those as well. And this time frame points to her maybe filming for Captain Marvel or Ant-Man and the Wasp. I she could probably pull off the wife. Probably not the mother of the Wasp, but definitely a villainess character. I don't think she's going to be Captain Marvel, but definitely pull off a villain character in these other 2 movies that are going on.
That would be cool.
About 6 months.
Maybe we can get a badass villain that we actually like.
Yeah, definitely could be. I just kind of want to point that out, that she said that. I didn't know where to put it, but I didn't know which movie she's going to be in. Everyone was like, oh, Captain Marvel. I'm like, yeah, but we know Ant-Man and the Wasp is filming this summer, so it could definitely line up with that one just as well. So, oh well. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. I have been collecting the pop vinyls for these already, Mike. I have most of them.
Trust me, I believe you.
Good. I was going to have to send pics. They had a new TV spot this past week, and I don't want you to watch it because I'm respectful of your want to go in raw, kind of blind.
I love going in raw, man.
Exactly, that's what I was going for. But apparently, it had a new song in the trailer, James Gunn has also gone on record this week saying not every commercial song will be in the movie. So I figured that was a fair warning from him. That not every song we hear is going to be there.
I think that's a good warning. I mean, that soundtrack is almost just as famous as the movie is now. So I feel like there's going to be lots of speculation, probably a lot of fan playlists on Spotify already for Volume 2. So I'll wait until the official track list, then I'll start listening.
And then we'll make our own Spotify playlist, like we did last time. I listened to that straight for like 2 weeks before that movie came out, man.
It's a great way to get yourself hype.
It is, and it's good music. Good music all around. New York Toy Fairs this weekend, and Spider-Man Homecoming has definitely gotten some new stuff. Not only are the pop vinyls released, but we have our first look at the Shocker through some concept art there for maybe even box art for upcoming here. So this is I don't know if this is a toy version or if it is final version. So
yeah, I mean, I'm definitely leaning like maybe box concept art, because it seems a little bit more blocky and kind of childish, maybe for toys. Not like critiquing the art or anything here, but I don't think that's exactly how the Shocker is going to end up looking on screen. You know, I believe that the Shocker would have some sort of mechanical industrial gloves for shocking, because that makes sense. So that might look about right, but the yellows and the orange seemed a little too bright. It almost kind of looks like maybe the Shocker was some sort of like industrial worker maybe in New York, because that kind of looks like one of those like orange reflective vests like a road crew might wear. So maybe that's where that zips in. Like maybe I don't remember the exact origins of the Shocker in the Marvel universe, but I don't know if he was like an electrician or something like that. But I'm not digging what I'm seeing right here, but I'm just hoping it doesn't end up looking like this on screen.
Yeah, I mean, I think the colors are a little off, but I mean, I think that the gauntlets are about right from what we've seen on behind the set photos, as well as some of the yellow and the goggles. But my theory is if the Tinkerer is playing a big thorn in the side of Iron Man and Peter Parker, you know, he's going to be giving the best technology more and more to the characters. Now, my concern here is the Shocker actually doesn't use electricity. He does shock waves. And this shows definitely electricity coming off his gauntlets. So I believe whoever drew this may have also been very confused from the name of the character they were drawing.
Well, it's funny because the last time I thought about the Shocker, like he even popped in my head, was when I was watching Spider-Man back in the 90s. And I swear, like I thought he had electric powers back in that show too. Maybe he didn't. I don't know. It's a weird name to give the character Shocker, and then he's more of like shocking the ground necessarily, not really shocking with like. But anyway, I don't know. I'm excited to see the Tinkerer kind of come into the MCU, because I think he could be a catalyst for a lot of carnage.
Exactly, a lot of street level carnage at that. Not even large sets. But yeah, so the Shocker has shockwaves, and Electro's the electric villain, and that's how we'll have to remember them from now on going forward. So there's that for Spider-Man. Really excited. Hopefully get a new trailer in the next couple of weeks, maybe before Comic-Con season kicks off in April. Infinity War gave us some images this week as well. Another look at the production logo on set. I believe this is one of the quote-unquote director chairs.
Yeah, I don't know. That's some nice embroidering. I think I'd like a little piece of that.
Yeah, I definitely do. So one of the things people noticed that is just called Infinity War, the word Avengers is not there, but I figured the logo implies Avengers Infinity War. But for the common folk, they may not know Guardians of the Galaxy are related to the Avengers and may not show up, so this may just be a shorter word to say. I have no idea, but I want this chair. I want this chair, Mike. I want to sit in it and
Well, I mean, just out of pure curiosity, while we were talking about this, I thought, how cool would it be to own one of these chairs? So I did a quick eBay search for on-set chair Avengers, and I have seen nothing. So maybe I just don't know how to search for this type of chair, but I'd be curious how much it would be to maybe own, like, I don't know if you could necessarily nail down the whole chair itself, but at least that back fabric part, I'm sure you could maybe find somewhere on eBay and then just go out and buy the chair and slide it on there. But that would be a cool piece of memorabilia.
I think so too. I mean, I think that's a very nice piece of memorabilia. You know, it's not like you don't need set props, but like, oh, I've got an actual chair they used on the set of the Avengers. Because I mean, chances are they're probably just tossing these and getting new ones for the next person. But I think, you know, my wife has a friend who has an embroidery machine, and I've played with it a little bit, helping her set it up, and I think this is doable. Mike.
I don't know.
I'll look into this for us.
Let me know.
I'll open an Etsy store, and then that's when you'll know.
Yeah, we want to get our awesome chairs going.
Mm-hmm. Also, after that big video on Infinity War debuted last week, Jim Starlin, the creator of Thanos, Drax, and Gamora, says he wants in on some of this Marvel money, and then, you know, a cameo in the movie. I'm like, yeah, buddy, you're no Stan Lee, that's for sure. But I mean, if he wants to be in it, I guess he could be in the background in a scene. That wouldn't hurt him to be there. Maybe. Yeah, I
mean, he's a cool guy, so maybe they'll throw him in the movie.
Yeah, I don't know if he's a cool guy, but he is a guy. So,
well, I'm just assuming if he created these characters, he's cool.
Yeah, he definitely created the older versions of them, not the ones we know and love today. Lastly, a new image from the directors of Infinity War, the Russo brothers, have showed them watching a feedback monitor with actress Millie Bobby Brown from Stranger Things. Mm-hmm. And a lot of the people are like, oh, does she have a part? Why is she here? Well, I did some research into it. Apparently, Stranger Things 2 is filming down the road. At Pinewood Studios. So,
well, I have a feeling Millie Bobby Brown could literally walk into any studio in Hollywood just because, like, she's never going to be as huge as she is right now. Maybe if Stranger Things 2 ends up being better than the first season, it could be a little bigger, but I have a feeling just, like, she's, like, probably, like, a really cool kid. People always love hanging out with, like, cool kids, so she probably just, like, walks in on everybody's set and just like, oh, hi, I'm Millie Bobby Brown from Stranger Things. You might not recognize me with my hair, but can I sit down and watch your feedback monitors? They're like, yeah, let's do it.
Mm-hmm. Well, that also leads me into say I've watched the first episode of Stranger Things today, Mike.
Finally.
I watched the first episode this morning while I was eating breakfast. So definitely started it. There's only 7 more to go.
Yeah, and you don't have a whole lot to go.
I know, and this is not a news topic, but S.H.I.E.L.D. is taking a couple weeks hiatus after this next week to prepare for like the final run. Mm-hmm. So it'll definitely fill in my S.H.I.E.L.D. time there. So there we go.
Good. I'm happy.
There. I know. Finally, everybody. Chris is watching Stranger Things. Stop sending me hate mail saying watch it. I'll get there.
Man, I'm just worried at this point in time it might be too overhyped for you. So yeah. I mean, I hope you have a good experience with it.
I'm just gonna pretend I hate it every second and see how pleased I am.
Just have a sour face on the whole time.
Yeah, but exactly. That's what I'm gonna do. So there we go. The Defenders, the TV show from Netflix, coming up later this year. The team apparently has taken the subway in a couple new shots.
Yes, I love this photo.
Yeah, so there's several of them from the series of Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, and Daredevil riding on a subway train as they traverse around the city.
Yeah, so, I'm kind of curious how Matt Murdock got that NYPD shirt.
Yeah, that's definitely a good question. Maybe it's his undercover attire. He doesn't know what he's wearing. He's blind, buddy. Like, what are you talking about?
I guess that's true.
But Luke Cage has his hoodie with the yellow interior on there going on.
Rocking his Carhartt jacket.
Exactly.
Jessica's in the classic scarf, and I guess Matt maybe he's putting on some new clothes, but like you said, he can't see him, so he thinks he's wearing the same thing he always wears.
Exactly. He's like, this shirt feels like normal. I'm gonna wear it. Also, not to bring up pop vinyls once again, but I finally got a Jessica Jones one. They finally came out. So
all right.
If anyone likes Jessica Jones, my wife really liked Jessica Jones. I know there are other people out there who like that show. So if you want to add that to your collection, go ahead and do so. Cloak and Dagger. We get our first look at the actors. I forget their names because it was pretty generic. Aubrey something. I don't know her name.
It's all right. These kind of kid actors are kind of out of our generation, so there's no reason we should know them. So,
yep. So one of the people have snapped themselves with Cloak and Dagger, probably doing table reads and getting ready for the show to start filming. They also added 6 other adult actors. I believe the other show, The Runaways, added the parents of most of them, and I didn't see anyone that stood out too well. So, but these other shows, these peripheral shows is what I'm going to call them for Marvel, are shaping up, and they're going to be here before we know it. So, if something large hits, we'll cover it. So that's for sure.
That's right.
Inhumans, I found out, is actually filming in a new Oahu, Hawaii Marvel Studios location. They're building a Marvel Studios location in Hawaii.
Man, I hope it's like permanent, because that'll just give me something. I hope they do like some sort of on-set visits, because I already really want to go on vacation over there. So that just gives me another reason to.
Exactly, and I'm totally on board with that, because Oahu's a great place, nice thing, and you know what? I think you may have something about the future of Marvel filming there, because a character called Submariner has been rumored to be joining the Inhumans production. The Submariner, as you may know, is Namor, the character Namor, and he was actually very crucial in the Inhumans Volume 2 run from the 90s that I'm very fond of. So you could read that.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot that you can kind of take away with that. So first, it kind of makes sense that you might have to make a whole studio kind of based on the water, just because they always talk about in Hollywood how expensive it is to film like with water, underwater, water involved anywhere. You know, just go look at the budget for Waterworld. You know, that'll show you. I'm sure CG and computer effects have helped, but I think, you know, it's kind of hard to replicate, you know, all of those fluid simulations and whatever you need to do over there. So, or maybe there's an executive that really just wanted to live in Hawaii, so they're like, hey, we got plenty of fucking money, let's just build a studio in Hawaii. But I think that's cool. I like that idea. Maybe they're kind of gearing up, ready to tackle maybe the popularity that might come with Aquaman, just because, like, we're going to talk a little bit more about DC later in the show here, and it's still on kind of shaky ground, but I mean, everybody loves Jason Momoa. He's been proven himself. So maybe Marvel thinks this kind of underwater superhero is something that hasn't really been mined yet, so maybe they're kind of doubling down on the water. But also, this is kind of cool that if they could get, I don't know if they currently have the rights to Namor, but I know it was kind of tied up for a while. Wasn't it with Fox, because he was originally in Fantastic Four?
Well, so Namor was actually one of the first 2 characters Marvel ever created. It was Mariner and the original robotic Human Torch. So I don't know where his rights fall under, but I believe it was Universal. He was actually not tied in with Fantastic Four. It was actually he's actually a separate entity. He has ties with the Fantastic Four. He has ties with being mutants as well. So it's definitely, he's definitely all over the place.
Yeah, it seems like they would either make him his own kind of underwater race, maybe kind of like what they're doing with Wakanda, or maybe they would say he was an Inhuman. I'm not really sure. I mean, they did do that. I mean, I will still stand by the idea of the Inhuman stuff being turned into fish oil in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. to be one of the most absurd ideas I've ever heard of in technically the Marvel universe. But I guess that would kind of tie in with Namor a little bit, but I don't know.
Yeah, so, well, also at the same time, there's a character in Humans called Triton, who is a fish man, kind of. So it could definitely be just a confusion with Triton and like a really bad naming system. But I believe Marvel actually do own the rights to Namor back now from Universal.
That would be cool. I mean, I don't know a whole lot about Triton, but I do kind of like how Namor is not necessarily a good guy, or if he is, sometimes he's like just a total dick. He's just a guy that's kind of all over, you know, the map. And we kind of need more of those people in the MCU, so I kind of want just like a selfish guy that just doesn't really care.
Well, there's a big call for having like royalty and like these unfounded kingdoms that we don't know about. Because so far we're just dealing with like regular democracies and humans and empowered people. So having these like return to like kings like King Black Bolt and King Namor, so on and so forth, is kind of cool. But that does bring me to Namor. The movie Submariner is on a production schedule. This is from the same people who broke the X-Men Supernova movie was filming very soon. And honestly, we know the author John Ridley, who wrote 12 Years a Slave and won an Oscar for it, has been working with Marvel since at least 2015, on a mysterious Marvel TV project. And what if Submariner / Namor is that project? And it's finally coming to fruition.
I mean, I would like that. I like this idea. I say it on the show all the time, but I love getting like kind of new expanded ideas of the MCU, just because everything's been plotted out for years now and we kind of know where everything's going. So yeah, I would really like that. I'm really curious what's on the other side of that second Untitled Avengers movie, or part 2 of Infinity War, whatever it ends up being, because that's just a whole new phase of the universe. I don't know if they're just going to try to soft reboot things, or if they're just going to try to just drastically change the world so these heroes can just like openly play out in the world. I don't know. I'm excited. So if Namor's on the other side, I can get excited for that.
Yeah, exactly. And again, to me, Aquaman has the biggest potential of any upcoming DC property, solo property, and why not join in on that for a little bit? So see how that works out for you, Marvel. That's for sure. Star Wars, Mike, The Last Jedi news. It's not footage. It's not footage, guys. Everybody, they're
excited. Still excited.
It's not time for the battle call. But we got to first look at Poe, Rey, and Finn on the upcoming product boxes for Star Wars toys, I guess, and the upcoming Force Friday 2, which is later this year, when they release all these Star Wars toys on Fridays. So here's our first look. I guess the biggest thing to take away from is Finn is still wearing Poe's jacket. You got a bromance going on. Poe is still piloting, starfighters, X-Wings, but Rey has her hair down. So that's really all about. It's got a white box this year, which I think is cool.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like Rey's definitely going to be jumping into what it truly means to be a Jedi, which that'll be kind of cool, because we haven't really heard a whole lot about what's it spiritually like to be a Jedi in a long time. I mean, in the prequels, it was more about the rules of being the Jedi and all these scientific reasons of like midichlorians. And they don't really talk a whole lot about the Force and being a Jedi in the original trilogy, just because it's just kind of a thing that's there, and you just kind of like try to bring it into your life. But maybe this will be kind of more of her spiritual journey. I still really want them to go to a Jedi temple. I think that would be really, really cool. So hopefully Luke takes her there, and I don't know, maybe she sees like a hieroglyph on the wall and be like, yeah, maybe I should put my hair down like that person too. But this is kind of cool that we're starting to see things. While we were introducing this topic, I did some more quick typing research to see when we might get a trailer, because I mean, this movie's at the end of the year. I mean, we haven't seen footage yet, just like we haven't seen footage for Ragnarok yet. So when are these trailers popping up? So the first thing you think in your head of is, when did the first trailer drop for The Force Awakens?
April.
So you go look at that. Well, for The Force Awakens, it was back in like November, because that was like the first teaser trailer in 2014. Like, that was early. So that's kind of like out of bounds. This was Star Wars coming back for the very first time. So you can't really take that date to be truth. And plus, we've passed that already. That would have been a couple months ago. So maybe the closest analog will be the first trailer for Rogue One, because these movies come out at the same time in December or so. The first trailer for Rogue One was at the beginning of April last year. So we might still be maybe like 8 weeks, 6 weeks out before we finally get a trailer for The Last Jedi. So I don't know if there's anything between now and the beginning of April that kind of signifies maybe a debut for The Last Jedi, but the only thing I could think of is maybe a trailer before the Oscars. I mean, that's the only kind of event I can think of. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I'm guessing April as well. Makes sense. Disney's got a lot on their plate this year, so we'll have to definitely see how that pans out. So I'm banking April. Honestly,
well,
for me.
let's cross our fingers, because once we get that footage, we all know I'm gonna be really excited.
Yeah. I'm definitely on board with that for sure. So we gotta keep that in mind and not try to guess anything, because I think we'll just shoot ourselves in the foot. But it would be cool to see it right before Guardians of the Galaxy, one space adventure leading another one. But
yeah, I think we'll get that regardless, because that's in May.
Well, I definitely remember it was in April of 2015 when the line "Chewie, we're home" came out, because we included that on our comic UI flyers at C2E2. So, and it was like the week before, so we felt really timely. It was nice. Also, the foreign titles for The Last Jedi have come out and suggest a plural form of Jedi in the use of their words, since in English we're kind of weird. But
I kind of figured. I didn't think that they were gonna kill off Luke, and I think the whole reason of The Force Awakens is to kind of bring back the Jedi in some aspects. So I wasn't expecting them to get killed off all the way. So I think maybe they'll be like, oh, these are the last Jedi that are left, and maybe at the end of the movie they'll get a beat that there's more Jedi out there in the world, and they got to go find them and round them up. Maybe it's going to be like a recruiting movie or something like that for the last one. But I don't know. I'm not surprised that it's plural.
Yeah, me neither. I think it just kind of confirms, I guess, by long I mean a couple of weeks fan theory that it was plural. So so just throwing that out there as well. With that, Star Wars on the whole, got a little bit of news here. The fate of Jar Jar Binks has been revealed in a novel that comes out next week.
Oh no, I'm waiting to see what this is, because I heard a little bit about this. I didn't look into it, but basically it was like, this destroys everything that we like about Jar Jar, because the only thing we like about him is hating him. So I guess they gave him some sort of tragic ending or backstory to where we don't feel like we can hate him anymore. I don't know.
Well, he has essentially become a sad street performing clown out on the in Naboo, I believe. So
man, he was just a bumbling idiot, and then he was like in the Senate, and now he's on the streets.
And a lot of people, I think what it said, they blame him for the Empire taking over. So there we go. That's it.
All right.
Also, Rogue One is getting a novel sequel called Inferno Squad. Because of how the Empire essentially, they got their asses spanked by the Rogues, getting the Death Star planes out. They create this thing called the Inferno Squad, and the Inferno Squad is to track down the remnants of Saw Gerrera's, I guess guerrillas, and infiltrate them and destroy them before they do anything else to the Empire. So,
well, there you go. You got some light fun reading to do in the Star Wars universe.
A lot of it sounds like. So, we did not talk about Legion last week, but we finally been both seen the first episode of Legion. I've not caught up on the second one just yet with the busy week. But first episode impressions, Mike. I think I talked about mine a little bit last week. Let me hear yours. Tell me what you thought of Legion when you finally got to watch it.
Well, first of all, this show looks beautiful. I didn't look into exactly who's shooting it, but it did kind of remind me of back in the day when you would watch Breaking Bad and you'd see all these really ingenious like camera angles and setups and cuts and stuff like that. You're getting all of that in this Legion show, which goes to show you when you're putting kind of like a drama on FX, expect the best. I mean, they're like a really high-end network, so you don't have to worry about the quality when you put a show on that network. So everything looked amazing, really creative. The show in general is really intriguing. My wife didn't 100% know that it was an X-Men TV show, because they kind of almost bury the lead a little bit, and they don't drop the word mutant until about maybe halfway through the episode. So I was like, I know I've told my wife about the show in the past. I was like, oh, Legion, they're making an X-Men show. But, when we started watching it, I think just all of that just didn't connect. So it was kind of cool, like kind of trying to imagine watching it and under her eyes, not knowing it was a mutant show, because you really don't know. And it's kind of a cool reveal at the very end when everything goes down. So that is pretty fun. I believe that I haven't checked the runtime of episode 2, but I think this was an extended episode as a premiere. I think it's about an hour and 7 minutes long. So I guess kind of get ready for the long haul. It seemed a little long. I felt like maybe for a premiere, they probably could have cut this down, just because it moves a little slow, but it is intriguing enough to kind of keep you in there. But I felt like it could have been a little bit more tight and a little bit more exciting if they kind of made a normal 47-minute runtime. But it was fun. It was exciting. Me and my wife are both looking forward to watching episode 2. So I think FX got something here.
Yeah, I do too. I'm really excited to see episode 2. And I think it's 10 episodes, 8 or 10. It's just visually amazing for a TV show to pull this off and, try to be bold and tell this story in a way or tell a TV show in a way that I've never seen told before. It's very non-linear and very, very bold to do. I guess the best word I can use is bold to do that for the show. And I'm really excited to see more of it. And hopefully it's the second season. And we're actually going to talk more about the main actor, Dan Stevens, here in a little bit. So definitely, I'm excited. I like the cast. I enjoy Aubrey Plaza as, I forget her name in there. I want to say it's Sid, but it's not Sid.
That's all right. I don't remember.
The other person, the other girl is Sid. So I definitely enjoyed it. And seeing people with powers is also awesome as well in there. So yeah, check it out. If not, you can wait till the full season's out and check it out then. Speaking of X-Men, Logan, the first reviews are out, so stay away from them. Don't read them, Mike.
I've been doing my best. Unfortunately, I've scrolled across a couple of tweets of some people's impressions. Luckily, they weren't, I would say, reviews. I didn't see any sort of a gauge or meter of stars or percentages. So luckily I've stayed away from that, but just a few adjectives about the movie. So I got my tickets, that they're out there. You can go buy them. So I'll be seeing it Thursday at 7 p.m. at my normal theater. So I'm really looking forward to this. I hear it's going to be pretty brutal. So.
Yeah, well, see, my theater does not have their pre-sale tickets up yet either, sadly, and I don't know why they're waiting so late to. They don't even have Beauty and the Beast tickets up, and I'm like, why are you doing this to me? I need this. So yeah, I don't get to see there, but I saw what people thought of it. No, definitely reviews. So I'm gonna kind of play it by ear and see what's going on there.
You can take this out of it without getting any reviews. Usually. If they kind of release that review embargo so early, it's because the word is pretty good. Usually if they're kind of worried about a movie or, they kind of hey, don't let those reviews come out until a couple days for the movie. But I mean, we're a few weeks away from Logan, and they're just yeah, go ahead, put it out there. We're confident that people are going to like it. So that's good.
Yeah, I definitely think so. I'm really excited. I want to go in really kind of as dark as I can on this, to be honest, because there's so much I don't want to know, and I really the less I know, I feel the better it's going to be on this one. Really excited for that as well. So Logan's coming up. We're excited. I guess that's really all we can say is we are excited for sure. Let's see here. Injustice 2, the video game's coming out. About a video game this week, Halo Wars. But Injustice is the next one I really want. They've added 4 characters as of this week. Swamp Thing, Poison Ivy, Catwoman, and the character Cheetah.
All right.
I think she looks like a cheetah.
Yeah, as you know, I've been rewatching, I guess technically maybe watching for the first time, Justice League, the animated series. Cheetah popped up in an episode or two. Batman, gave her a kiss. It was kind of weird because she's literally a cat person, and that was a bat person. I don't know. It was weird. It was weird for a kids TV show because Batman was trapped by Lex Luthor. He needed to kind of manipulate his way out of the situation, so he started hitting on Cheetah, which was just really bizarre because this is a kid show, man. It's getting a little too sexual, but so I don't know. Look out for that if you're watching Justice League.
Well, now that you've mentioned that, you have my attention for sure. So I need to go start watching this show. It sounds like all this risky business going on over there. So those characters being added, if you like them, even better. So there you go. I'll keep you posted if more comes up. Wonder Woman, we got some news on it. That's good, I think. The Ares is not played by the actor David Houston, I think his name. David Houston, actor.
Sure.
I could have his name wrong. He was he was Stryker in Origins movie. Danny Houston. Danny Houston. There it is. Ha! I had to look it up. I'm like, it's not David. Danny Houston. But do you want to know who the real actor is?
Sure.
David Thewlis. He played Lupin in the Harry Potter movies.
Lupin, Harry Potter. Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. I mean, I guess that's good news.
He has CGI and practical effects going on there. So that's definitely cool to, I guess, for me to hear.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so. I'm down. I've been talking a lot about Wonder Woman recently with the next news that we have here on the show. A lot riding on this movie. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, so what I heard is they're doing previews, I guess, showing it early for people to see. Like we talked about Guardians last week. So I guess they feel confident enough for that, right?
Yeah, I hope it works out for them. I honestly really hope this movie works out for them. I think the best that they can hope for realistically is just an unoffensive movie. Just something kind of middle ground where no one can really dig into it for being just awful. But I don't think anyone's going to put this up there in like the top 10 superhero movies of all time. So, but they don't need that. They don't need a top 10 superhero movie of all time. They just need one that's not going to be in the bottom 10. So,
well, I'm really glad that they've taken on my reviewing system. Are they offended? Yes or no? Going forward, because that's really all I'm shooting for is for a movie that's not offensive at all. Mm-hmm. So we got that looking forward to. The Batman news, Mike, we talked about this. I guess I shared this with you, but we didn't really talk about it. But Matt Reeves has dropped out of directing already.
Man, I mean, it just goes to show you, I don't know if we didn't have as solid news as we thought we did last week, or maybe just people are just churning through Warner Brothers as quickly as that sounds, but it's not good news. I mean, usually you need a director attached to make a movie, so where's the director?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. There's no report on why he left. But it could be, anything at this point, really.
Yeah, it's just it makes you nervous just because when Man of Steel, Batman vs Superman, Suicide Squad, when all of that was performing badly, we all had the hope in the back of our heads of, at least Ben Affleck is going to make an awesome Batman movie. And we have seen track records of solid Batman movies. I mean, we just came off those 3 Nolan movies that were all acceptable. So we were just like, maybe we'll get the Batman movie and it'll be awesome. But now everything's all shaky. Maybe just too many eyes are on it, Maybe just it's just trying to work its goods in the background, and we're just our eyes are too close. Maybe we just need to recircle back around when they get some stuff stamped and confirmed. But yeah, it does make me a little nervous.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely don't know what to think of it, but I think they'll be fine in the long run. We'll be nice, and hopefully they do something well with it. Just kind of take in and see what's going on. That's for sure. But also on the same note, as I'm clicking around here, a report came out that Ben Affleck wants out of this movie, or that if he cannot get out of this movie, the Batman could be his last DC film. What do you think that would do to this whole universe that they're trying to build? How do you think they would do with that?
I don't know. I guess I will take that as rumor right now, just because there's a whole lot swirling around with this movie. So I guess we just look at it theoretically. Can this DC universe continue without Bruce Wayne as Batman? And I think they could, but it's really hard to imagine it with the track record of movies they have right now. Like imagine maybe right after Winter Soldier, Chris Evans just wanted out of the role of Captain America. He just wanted out of there for some reason. I felt like Marvel could have put someone else in that mantle and they could have made it work. I feel like you kind of technically on a storytelling level could put someone else under the cape and cowl, just because you could throw like a Robin in there or something, put like Dick Grayson in there. People have put the Batman suit on before, so it wouldn't be too hard to believe maybe one of these previous Robins in his past could become Batman. And they could play into the idea of like, this is an older Batman, he's been doing it for years, maybe he is finally done with it. Maybe we could portray the death of Batman Superman on screen, which is something that we've never seen before. So that could be really cool. But it's hard to imagine all that cool, awesome storytelling stuff happening over at Warner Brothers that just can't even get a good Suicide Squad movie going, you know? So I'll take it as rumor for now, just because there's so much swirling about this movie. But maybe just all of this dwell and doom will subside if we get kind of some positive reviews out of Wonder Woman. You know, people will start to shift their perception of kind of Warner Brothers maybe after we get that.
I mean, I'm really hoping so. That's for sure. I mean, I'm really my goal is not Wonder Woman. My goal is Justice League. So if I can get to Justice League, I will feel, and it doesn't offend me, as you will. I'll feel really confident about it. So we'll take a look at that. You mentioned Suicide Squad 2 has a weird early director talk going on here. I don't know how to take it, but here it is. Mel Gibson is in early talks to direct Suicide Squad 2.
So the way I look at this, I mean, I don't know a whole lot about sports, but when you're recruiting players and you can't exactly afford or attract the best players on the planet, you usually try to find a really awesome player that maybe has some sort of like criminal background and no one else wants them. Like Mel Gibson got in a lot of trouble with Hollywood, if you're unaware out there, of being pulled over for drunk driving, and he was recorded basically saying all of these anti-Semitic things, which is already bad in general, but amazingly bad in Hollywood, just because there is a whole lot of Jewish population kind of in high roles in Hollywood. So he was kind of pushed out of this whole town and then somehow crawled his way back in, and apparently Hacksaw Ridge is really good because he directed that. So I guess Suicide Squad is circling around Mel Gibson. I guess if we kind of detach our feelings about the person, kind of like how we do with Tom Cruise, Mel Gibson is a really good director, and he's a good actor too. I mean, he's good at his craft, so maybe he can come into Suicide Squad and make something good.
Yeah, I do. But at the same time, I'm pretty sure this past summer he went on to say that superhero movies suck and Batman v Superman is like the worst thing ever. So,
well, maybe he can come in and make a good one, put his money where his mouth is,
Yeah, he definitely could. I mean, I think he used that as a reason to say he doesn't want to do superhero movies. It was in September. He's like, he doesn't want big budget superhero movies, and called Batman v Superman a piece of shit, if you will. So
maybe Warner Brothers knocked out his door with like a suitcase full of money, and he's like, okay, I can change my mind now.
In this America, anything can happen. So let's go with that. So Suicide Squad 2, it's not been announced, it's not been confirmed, but Mel Gibson's in early talks. Maybe they'll snag him for another movie.
At the very least, it is very interesting news.
Yeah, that is for sure. Something that maybe kind of raised my eyebrow, stop and make sure I wasn't reading.
It does. Like, it's like before I saw that headline, I had never wanted to see a sequel to Suicide Squad. But after I read the headline, I was like, maybe I do want to see a sequel to Suicide Squad.
Yep, it's a red box one for sure. Mm-hmm. Now I'll probably see it in theaters. So the other DC movie that we've kind of heard about is Shazam, with the Rock starring Black Adam in it. The director David F. Sandberg is in talks to direct. He's known for an upcoming movie called Lights Out, and his next movie is Annabelle 2, which happens to be a horror film, Mike.
There you go. And I think Lights Out, was that a horror movie or is that something new? There was some sort of like horror short called Lights Out, I think. But either way,
it's a supernatural horror film.
Yeah, that's what you do in this town, man. You just gotta direct a good scary movie, horror movie, and then just cross your fingers, sit back in your lounge chair, and just wait for DC or Marvel to get in touch with you to make a movie. So, Chris, maybe that's what you need to do. You need to go ahead, whip up a horror script, film it, and just like get it out there and just sit back and wait. DC's gonna need some help. So maybe you'll be on the Cheetah movie.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I don't want to. Okay, you don't put me in this. Okay, I don't want no part of this.
All right.
But so that's happened. We'll switch gears a little bit out of the superhero stuff, and let's talk about Star Trek Discovery. I know we have some Star Trek fans out there, and I thought it's interesting to first look at Klingons in the upcoming Star Trek Discovery TV show. Yeah. They looked to kind of maybe match the movie version a little bit more. than the old school TV show. What do you think?
Yeah. I mean, we haven't really had a whole lot of Klingon in the Star Wars movies. We've had him a little bit, I believe, with Khan when he was on that planet, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, but I mean, they look cool. I'm kind of more curious what's going to happen with CBS All Access, where they're going to be airing Star Trek Discovery, just because for the longest time, this was the only show I had heard about being on there. But then I've been seeing some billboards around town of, I guess they have a really popular show called The Good Wife, and they're doing a spinoff called The Good Fight, which I have literally no idea what that means, but that's also going to be on CBS All Access. So it seems like they're putting a lot of effort into this, kind of app-based network, some sort of monthly cost. So I'm kind of interesting to see what comes out of that, just because, the CBS did try to get superheroes working with Supergirl, so maybe they'll be able to attract another DC property to CBS for this All Access thing. I don't know. But I think there's a lot to look out there with potential. But I don't know. I'm not a big Star Trek TV show guy. I mean, I watched some of the movies back when I was a kid. I'm watching the movies now when I'm an adult kid. So maybe the TV show will be awesome. If I hear good things, maybe I'll give it a shot.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know either, but I mean, the movies have kind of been up and down, and TV's where it got its, first feed at, so maybe they've learned some lesson in the past 10, 15 years, and put something good out there. A trailer we watched together actually, is for an upcoming movie called Colossal, and it's kind of, honestly, it felt a little bit like the TV show Legion meets Pacific Rim. Because in it, Anne Hathaway, I guess when she goes to sleep or drinks too much, when she's drunk, she controls this big monster that's terrorizing Japan.
Yeah, I'm not really 100% sure like what the mechanics are there, but there are scenes where she's moving, and then they're watching a live feed of the monster in Japan, and the monster is moving. So there seems to be some sort of connection. But so what we watched and what's in our show notes here is kind of a combination of trailer 2, and then right afterwards you can see the first trailer. So what it seems to be, the second trailer gave me more of an idea of maybe this is just more of a storytelling device of, I think this was all based around her getting over like a boyfriend or an ex or something like that. I don't remember all the subtext of the trailer, but I have a feeling this is going to be less of like, oh, a human is attached to a monster, what's going to happen to the planet. I think it's going to be more like it's an allegory for her life or relationships or something like that, which could still be cool, because this whole trailer has an angle of like being a comedy and being weird and kind of bizarre, and Jason Sudeikis is in it, and I love Jason Sudeikis and everything. So this looks like it could be fun. It had those film festival badges that popped up at the beginning of the trailer, so it's not exactly like a high budget type of movie if they're throwing it into film festivals necessarily. So it looks fun. I'm looking forward to it. Anne Hathaway's cool too. So
Anne Hathaway, Dan Stephen, who's actually plays the character Legion in Legion, is in this. Jason Sudeikis, Tim Blake Nelson, who was in the Incredible Hulk, is in this, and the music is done by Bear McCreary, who did Battlestar Galactica and does Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.'s music.
Well, there you go. There's some nerd cred in this movie.
Yeah, big nerd cred to me. So I don't know. It may not be definitely a theater goer, but I definitely want to check it out and see what it's up. What's up with that?
Yeah, the only thing I will guess, just before we move off of this, because I don't know if we'll be talking about this later in the future, towards the end of the trailer, she kind of she puts her dukes up while she's kind of looking off past the camera. So I almost think maybe there's going to be another monster that comes into contention, and there's going to be monsters fighting while these two humans are fighting. So that could be kind of fun. So look out for another monster.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, my guess would probably be her ex-boyfriend.
Yeah, something like that.
So they're bringing it all back around. Lastly, we're going to end on the House of Mouse. Disney news, Mike. We got two things here. First up, Lion King has got its Simba and Mufasa cast for the live-action movie coming forward. Donald Glover is Simba. It's no Miles Morales, but he'll do.
Yeah, and if it, so first of all, that casting announcement will get you excited, and then when you hear the second casting announcement, you're just like, bravo, that's perfect.
And as Mufasa, they're bringing back James Earl Jones, reprising his role from the cartoon movie in the 90s.
That's right. I mean, that's the plus of being voice acting. You can just play that role forever. So, I mean, no one really knows 100% what this movie is going to look like, just because there's no humans in it. to begin with, so it's like live action, but not really. It's more like just like a photorealistic Pixar movie kind of going on here. So I don't know. I mean, Jon Favreau coming back at it. I still haven't watched The Jungle Book yet. It's in my Amazon Instant Queue, or I guess Netflix Instant Queue, so I'll give it a shot. I know I've been sour on these Disney movies, but I heard good things about The Jungle Book. I mean, Beauty and the Beast looks interesting, so I'm still not going to go back and watch those, like, Huntsman, Cinderella garbage. But,
I don't think those count, yeah. Disney does not make all hits, that's for sure. So I definitely agree with that. So I think that's great news for The Lion King. And lastly, I always forget about this, live-action Mulan is still coming for us, Mike. And they've cast 2 people. First off, Nikki Caro to direct. I looked her up. I don't know anything she's done off the top of my head. Just kind of real quick, she's from New Zealand. Maybe just kind of looking at here, The Zookeeper's Wife I've heard of, but I don't know anything else. A lot of dramas, if you will. So a lot in there. And then actually Bill Kong as a producer, and he's done House of the Flying Daggers, Hero, and Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. So I think they're really trying to nail that cultural aspect and stay true to it without offending anybody, of course.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a really tight line to walk with Mulan, just because with the Chinese market being so big right now, you're almost kind of making this movie for a Chinese audience right off the bat, just inherently with the stuff that's in the movie. So I feel like they're gonna not do a whole lot of Western actors in this movie unless they happen to meet that kind of Chinese heritage, because I mean you can't cast Scarlett Johansson as Mulan. I'm not saying they would do that, but that can't happen. So I think they're going to stick to kind of Asian actors and actresses, which is good. I think that'll be really cool to kind of see a non-Western cast with a big, huge Disney budget. I mean, Mulan's an awesome Disney movie to begin with. So cool. It'll be kind of cool if, I don't know if Mushu is going to be kind of like a comical sidekick again. It kind of seems they have comical sidekicks in Beauty and the Beast, so that could be kind of cool. Maybe they bring Eddie Murphy back for that. But I'm excited for the idea of Mulan. There's lots of cool stuff going on there. I have fond memories of visiting Mulan's universe in Kingdom Hearts, so I think that's the last time I had anything to do with Mulan. So this will be interesting. I think it'll make a crap ton of money, because it seems like they're going to make a lot of money from China.
Yeah, I do. And even then, people love their Disney movies here. Mulan is people like Mulan. I believe my wife watched it recently, like a week ago, because I caught the end of it. So I think it's gonna be it's gonna be an interesting version that I need to tell.
It's gonna be a movie that's gonna connect two Earth superpowers together.
Yeah, they've got to pull it off, and I think they can do it. So good on you, Disney. We made it through our news, Mike, a little longer than usual, but there was a lot of stuff here. I felt like. Talk about, but I mean, I'm always happy to talk to you. If people, you just put up a new webcomic, if people want to see that and find out some more of your stuff, where can do that at for you?
Well, they can follow me at Mike Royer Design on Twitter and Instagram, and you can read my webcomics, as Chris said, at pickledcomics.com. Chris, you always got so much going on. I mean, you're getting rear-ended by cops. That's already more exciting than my life. So if people want to see what's going on in your life, where can they follow you?
Yeah, you can find me at Twitter at Valdan, VALDAN. Also on comicui.com and my other podcast, Filmside Chats. If you want to listen to stuff about that, we have, again, it's bi-weekly, so we don't have one this week, but hopefully by next week we'll have another one up for you. So that's it. I'm also thinking I got some more new Star Wars PC game codes, Mike. Think about giving those out. So if you guys want some Star Wars game codes, message us, comment stuff. I'll just send them out until they're gone, because I have a bunch of duplicates. So if not, I'll bring it up again next week. Oh well.
Rad.
And as always, where can people find us, Mike? This might be their first Superhero Slate. Where else can they see us?
Well, please visit superheroslate.com to find all the places that we host our show and all of our awesome show notes, because we talked about a lot of concept art. We talked about a trailer in there, so there's a lot of stuff to look at. So go check us out at superheroslate.com to see all of those things. You can subscribe to us on iTunes, YouTube, Google Play Music, SoundCloud, Stitcher, Tumblr. You can get us right in your email inbox. You can like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, follow us on Instagram, and you can pick up some Superhero Slate merch at superheroslate.com/store. If you're a fan of the show, please consider leaving us a review wherever you listen to the show. That's really awesome. Helps us getting some fresh earlobes, and we love seeing the comments on YouTube and on Facebook. We really love that. And if you're a super fan of the show, all you got to do is share the show with a friend, share the show with a buddy, and we will be here every week. Bam, I nailed it.
Yes, you get it every week, and mostly because I kind of just zone out for a minute or two until you're done. And like he said everything, so we're in all the places that you could ever want to listen to us. So thanks for that. Thanks for this week, Mike. I guess we just have a regular one more week. Is it only one more week, and then we have a Logan spoiler cast coming up? Is that right?
I'm not sure. It's coming up soon.
We'll eventually get there. So oh well. So I guess I'll catch you next week and everybody else too.
All right, goodbye.
Thanks for listening, and don't forget to subscribe.
All right, I will find somewhere to use that.